couple months ago, I released a short where I talked about Pokemon abilities that need to be made. Some of my examples included abilities that double speed in all remaining terrains, since we already have one for all types of weather, but only one for electric terrain, which is Surge Surfer. Another was an ability like Scrappy that allows normal and fighting type moves to hit ghost types, but instead for other types, like Ground being able to hit Flying, or Psychic being able to hit Dark. In another video I made recently, I talked about abilities that are strictly better versions of others, so keeping on the theme of abilities, I'm going to go over what other abilities need to be made, and we'll also be coming up with the names for them. These are all abilities that have an obvious counterpart that could very easily be implemented into the game. I will also be considering the ability from a lore perspective to keep their functionality both reasonable and interesting. For example, I would consider light metal and heavy metal to be counterparts of each other since they do the exact opposite things. Light metal halves weight, while heavy metal doubles weight. So hopefully you can get a good idea of what I'm going for here. Starting off, we have the ability Download. This ability is exclusive to the Porygon line in Genesect. It has the effect that it raises either the attack or special attack of the user, depending on which will do more damage to the opponent. If the opponent has lower defense, attack will be raised. If the opponent has lower special defense, special attack will be raised. The obvious counterpart to Download is Upload. This ability would do the opposite of Download, so instead of raising your own attacking stats based on your opponent's defensive stats, it would lower your opponent's defensive stats based on your own attacking stats. For example, let's say I'm a physical attacker with the Upload ability. Upon switching in, my opponent's defense will be lowered as that is what would do more damage. If I'm a special attacker, my opponent's special defense will get lowered. This would be similar to Sword of Ruin and Beads of Ruin, but instead with a stage drop. This might be a little too powerful of an ability though, so how about it only works the first time switching in, like Super Sweet Syrup or Intrepid Sword to balance it out a little bit. Magnet Pull is an ability that traps opposing steel types from switching out. From a lore perspective, this works because magnets attract each other, thus, the ability makes sense to trap a steel type opponent. The counterpart to Magnet Pull would be Magnet Push, since magnets can either have a pushing or pulling effect. If they are opposite charges, so one positive and one negative, they will pull. And if they are the same charges, so both positive or both negative, they will push. Thus, this ability could work in that it forcibly pushes out steel type opponents when they switch in, as long as the opponent has Pokemon in their party to switch to. If this happens in a wild battle, it will force the wild Pokemon to flee and end the battle. Bad Dreams is a signature ability of Darkrai, which causes any adjacent sleeping Pokemon to lose 1/8 of their max HP at the end of the turn. From a lore perspective, Darkrai puts people to sleep and gives them nightmares to protect itself. The counterpart to Bad Dreams would be Good Dreams. This ability would heal adjacent sleeping Pokemon by 1/8 of their max HP, which wouldn't be good at all in single battles, but it could have some use in double battles to heal your ally. Cursed Body is an ability that causes damaging moves that hit the user to have a 30% chance of being disabled for 4 turns. The counterpart to Cursed Body would be Blessed Body. Instead of a chance of disabling a move after taking damage, Blessed Body would enable a damaging move used by the opponent. This could be cool if the user is taunted, tormented, imprisoned, choice locked, or any other condition that restricts move use. Clear Body is an ability that prevents the user's stats from being lowered by an opponent. From a lore perspective, my guess is that this ability works because the opponent's attempts to lower the user's stats phase right through their Clear Body. The obvious counterpart to Clear Body is Opaque Body. This ability would allow opponents to lower the user's stats, since those attempts at lowering stats succeed and do not phase through the user's Opaque Body. Unseen Fist is a signature ability of Urshifu, which allows its contact moves to hit through Protect. It is able to do this because its fist is so fast that it is unseen by an opponent's Protect, allowing it to hit right through. The counterpart to Unseen Fist would be Seen Fist. This ability would make it so that contact moves do not hit through Protect, since the opponent is able to see the user's fist in time to shield from the attack. Unaware is an ability that allows the user to ignore its own negative stat changes and its opponent's positive stat changes. This is because the user is unaware of those stat changes that it ignores them entirely. The counterpart to Unaware would be Aware. This would mean that the user is aware of all its own stat changes and the opponent's stat changes, so they would not be ignored and would be factored in during a damage calculation. No Guard is an ability that ensures that all moves used by or against the user will hit. This is because No Guard tactics in martial arts is a style that focuses on high offense to land punches, but low defense to not be able to block punches very well. The counterpart to No Guard would be Yes Guard. This would ensure that all moves used by or against the user will miss, since the focus is entirely on defense and none on offense. And those are just some of the ideas I have for counterparts to existing Pokemon abilities. With new Pokemon content coming out every few years, there's bound to be some new abilities. Maybe the Pokemon company will watch this video and make some of these abilities real. Let me know in the comments which abilities were your favorite and which ones you would like to see get counterparts. Also, happy April Fool's Day!